everybody. Lord Tremendous here. Got another battle report here for you. 3,000 point battle using the Legion rules. Lord Tremendous of the Undead Legion versus the Lady's Meat Puppet of Bretonia. That's right, I get a hold of these, artsy fartsy King Arthur types again, and it's another great friggin' game. So sit back, relax, and get ready to see how we kick the crap out of each other.
Assemble the army!
Here's my list, and I don't know if you've ever seen this before. I don't know if I've ever mentioned it before, but I named the army the Glass Sand Kingdom Army to go with the bases, and because I think it sounds cool. So there. My general is my vampire lord, Lord Tremendous. He's got an abyssal terror. The terror has poisonous tail and sword claws, which is basically armor-piercing poison attacks. He's a level 3 wizard, not the terror, my vampire lord. He's got heavy armor, sort of an anti-heroes, enchanted shield, talisman of preservation, the other trickster shard, red fury, quick blood, and the lore of undeath. Really starting to become a believer in the lore of undeath, I don't mind telling you. Next up, I have my Lich High Priest, Queen Elizabeth. She's a level 4 wizard with a Dispel Scroll, Talisman of Protection, and the Laura Nehekara. My hero choices are my Tomb Prince, Dark Vincent. He's got a great weapon, armor, silvered steel, and a luck stone. And my Necrotech, Sinister Jeffrey, with the Dragon Helm and the Iron Curse icon. My core choices are a unit of 5 skeleton horse archers with a banner, 58 skeleton warriors, the Fateless, with full command light armor and shields, and 14 skeleton archers, Queen's Guard, with full command. I've also got 2 of my favorite units, 3 chariots, Rolling Bones, with Musician Banner and Banner of Eternal Flame, and another unit of chariots, 3 by the Thunder, with Banner Musician. My special choices are 5 Hexwraiths, 3 Vargheists, 3 Medusa Stalkers, those that gaze, a Cimmerian War Sphinx
Kitty!
with Fiery Breath, and my rare choices are my Hyro Titan, Nad the Protector, and my Casket of Souls. I didn't get the Bretonian list. I meant to. I just suck. I'm sorry, guys. I know I keep forgetting to do this and getting the list and stuff like that, but I'm enjoying the games too damn much. I blame society. Here are my spells, and there's 3 more of the cards that I got there at the bottom for the Lore of Undeath, and they're awesome. And then, of course, my 4 from the Hekara and the 2 on the Titan, and, of course, Cast a Spell doesn't have a card. And here are the Bretonian spells. I think he's got like 3 or 4 from Lore of Life and Wizen's Wild Form on multiple damsels. Here's deployment, and for the most part, I wasn't overly concerned about anything but the trebuchets, and of course the Grail Knights, because, well, the Grail Knights scared the hell out of me for good reason. I put my, what is it called, my Vargheists and my 1 unit of chariots, I believe, with the Banner of Eternal Flame on the left side, flank there, and the idea, ignore the Necrosphinx, Death Holy Death bought a whole bunch of stuff because this was like Black Friday and everything at the store was like 25% off, so we all went on a bit of a shopping spree, and he got a whole bunch of models that he's been wanting to get for a while, and he was deciding to assemble them on our table because, well, that's Death Holy Death. So ignore the Necrosphinx, that one's not mine. But the Vargheists and the Chariots there, those are mine, and their job was to deal with that unit of, I believe they're Knights Errant on the left flank there. Just as they came around, they were going to have to turn to my right and expose their flank, and if my Vargheists didn't just charge them, I was going to kill them. I have my Skeleton Warriors, my Titan, my Kitty, my Casket, all in the middle there, just ready to rock. I've got the archers in the middle there, basically just bunkering my character, my caster, so that she can continue to buff everything the way she sees fit. My second unit of chariots are on the right there. I kind of angled them towards the right just to try to deter. I was hoping to cut that unit of that lance over to the right, over towards the center, and just kind of gum up his lines a bit. He's got a unit of men-at-arms and stuff over there, and bowmen, but I didn't figure they would move too much. I figured they were shields for his trebuchet. Yeah, so that was kind of the hope. I was hoping he was going to see the chariots and come around the rock there towards the center and just kind of gum everything up, make it easier. The Hexwraiths were over there too for the same reason. They were like 19 away or something like that. They were far enough away that it was a little bit difficult for them to charge. And I wasn't completely convinced that he had a magic weapon in that unit, so I was hoping. Meanwhile, my character is behind the stone there, the impassable terrain, so nobody gets a lucky charge. And right after, turn one, since I know I'm going first, he gets to bounce up close and maybe fire off a few chaff units up past the stone there. So that would be kind of neat. Meanwhile, I put my scouts over there on the side because they were going to try to get a hold of the trebuchets as quick as possible. That was my plan. Here's my opponent's right flank, which consists of his, I believe those are knights errant with a damsel installed and a trebuchet, as well as one of the units of knights of the realm. And here's his center. The left one, that's that Knights of the Realm or whatever that you saw earlier. There's a unit of Grail Knights, huge unit of Grail Knights with his BSB, his Prophetess, and his General installed. His Brett Death Star, if you will. In the middle there is a huge unit of Bowmen with a Lord installed. Just a Brett Lord on foot. He's got the Peasant Vow, Quest, Grail, whatever. He hangs out with the low folk. He likes the slum. Next to them is a unit of men-at-arms, and that was just because his 2,500 point list needed to make its core choice minimum, so he put a unit of 10 men-at-arms in there. I don't even know if they have full command. Behind them is a second trebuchet. And here are my scouts, which consists of my 5 skeleton horsemen archers over there, getting ready to go war machine hunting. Here's my right flank, which consists of my hex race, my general, and my unit of chariots. And here's my center. From right to left, there's my archers with high lich priest installed, the war kitty, the titan, the skeleton warriors with necrotech and tomb prince installed, and my casket. And here's my left flank, which consists of my vargheists and my chariot. Here's top of one after movement, and as you can see, I didn't move a whole hell of a lot. At all, really. All I did is I moved the scouts forward. I did move my general up behind the rock a little bit, and I moved the hex race back just a little bit to get that 19-20 inches away from him, because I was worried about early lucky charges. I didn't know if he had a magic weapon in there, and I didn't want to find out the hard way. I brought my general up against the stone there. It's an inch away, relax. But I wanted to fire off some spells, and when anything came down the middle, I wanted my general to jump into it. Other than that, I pretty much just left everything the way it was. I think the Vargheists came up slightly, and that's really about it. I wanted him to come to me. I know his Bretonnians. There's no reason for me to get close to him. He's going to come at me, no problem. So I just kind of backed up a little bit and waited for the, train to come. During the magic phase, I think I threw a 5 dice at the casket at that unit of Lance, Knights Errant with the Paladin. There's a Paladin and there's a Damsel installed in there. I think they're Knights Errant, to be honest with you. I'm not 100% on that. But my casket goes off on them, hits them, and does, as you can see, 4 wounds. It's glorious. It proceeds to bounce and hit the trebuchet, the men-at-arms, the bowmen, and I think even the Grail Knights before it runs out of steam. And I think the only thing it does is it kills 1 men-at-arm, and that's it. Other than just decimating that Knights Errant lance, which is huge. And then I'm able to get a unit of Spirit Host off, which I'm very happy about. And they're just bounced over on the other side of the rock there. If anything charges it, sure, they're going to kill it. But the way I see it is he's chaff. Whatever those Grail Knights go forward or wherever they move, that chaff is going to get in his way. And I've only got 12-inch range, so that's as far as I can put it without, making it an easy charge. And if the Grail Knights do go after it, they're stuck at that impassable terrain, and that would be glorious. So I was happy about that. Then we go over here to bottom of one after movement, and there's been a lot more movement. Brets like to move. From left to right there, his Errant Knights or whatever, they come flying up as, well, not as far as they can go, but a decent amount, just to put some pressure on my Vargheists. The rest of his lances come tearing forward right into the center there. They're not hesitating. The bowmen pretty much stay where they are. The men-at-arms move in order to basically block the skeleton archers charging into the trebuchet, and what's left of that lance on the right moves up cautiously towards the hex race because he wants to charge, but he doesn't want to give the hex race to charge on them. All the good things. Oh, I'm sorry, he failed a charge. I'm an idiot. On the right flank there, he did charge my hex race and fail, and he moved up like 4 or 5 inches. So glad he missed that charge because it turns out the paladin did have a magic weapon. Nothing happens in his magic phase, but in his shooting phase, the first trebuchet to shoot direct hits right on top of my well, not direct hits, it angles away from the war kitty and hits my chariots beautifully, hitting all 3 of them with, of course, one under the hull, and kills one. Yeah, basically he did 3 wounds altogether and destroys one of my chariots. It just blows my mind how accurate other people's war machines are compared to how my useless catapult was. Just breaks my heart. The other trebuchet goes off course and misses, but his 30-plus archers shoot at the war kitty and slip a wound through, which is going to be, well, I'm going to take it out of their ass later. You'll see. So we go over here to top of 2 after movement, and you're looking at it. Really no crazy movement by me. My hex race go through that lance because they can march because they're within 12 of the general, and they kind of cut through him a little bit. My lord tried to charge the unit of non-Grail Knights and failed. I needed like a 6, and I rolled 2 2s and a 1, so that sucked. So he failed to charge. The Spirit Host moved in the way to get in the way of the Grail Knights. My Chariot's left face because now that lance on my right flank I'm just not worried about. The Kitty runs over just to get out of the way of everything and possibly countercharge. Titan backs up. Skeleton Warriors back up. The Vargeis on the left flank charge into the Knights and make it, and that's good. I was iffy about this charge, but everybody else is like, that's a great charge. So I guess everybody else has more confidence than I do, which is, well, in my army anyway. And my second unit of chariots on the left flank there, they get ready to charge in the flank, whatever charges my through the lance there. And I think I just kill a couple more of the lance. I think the damsel, the paladin, and a couple of the knights of the realm or whatever they are, I think they're still in that unit, and that's about it. They passed their panic check, if anybody was wondering. And there's a better picture of my lord failing a charge into that unit of non-Grail Knights. And there's a better picture of my Vargeis making it into the Knights of the Realm, which is, or Knights Errant, or whatever the hell they are. During the magic phase, the casket goes off again and smashes all but the paladin and the damsel, which is awesome. It bounces and hits the men-at-arms, does nothing. Bounces, hits the trebuchet, does nothing, and then stops. But, you know what? It killed me a whole bunch of knights, and that's awesome. What's even better is that the paladin and damsel fail their panic check and go fleeing through the hex race and everything, so that's just outstanding. That whole lance is dealt with by the casket, and I'm happy about that. Nothing else happens during the magic or shooting phase, so we go into combat, and the Vargeis tear apart 3 of these little errant knights, whatever they are, like a step above peasants, whatever the hell they are. Meanwhile, they take 1 wound in return, charge and 3 wounds to, I think, banner and a wound. I win by a decent amount. He is not steadfast, and they get run down like the sheep they are. And I'm happy about that. Don't get me wrong. I'm very happy about that. The lady is not protecting, which is nice. So with all the victory on my side, we go over here to bottom of 2 after movement, and the Bretonnians are pissed. 2 lances slam into my Skeleton Warriors. I believe they're both Knights of the Realm. His Grail Knights, not having a choice, charge the Spirit Host, and that's fine. They're chaff. That's exactly why they're there. The Damsel Paladin combo, they don't rally. He rolls like boxcars for them, and they go fleeing off the table. They bounce through the Skeleton Archer Horseman guys, and that's it for them. Other than that, I think everything else he has is deader in combat. There's a better picture of the 2 lances slamming into the Skeleton Warriors, and I was pretty confident about this one because I've seen this fight before. In fact, last time I played against this guy, you know, he did this, and my skeletons held up rather well. In fact, I think they ended up winning that combat, so I was feeling pretty good about this one. Plus, I had 2 units of chariots and my War Kitty ready to countercharge these guys in the flank, so feeling pretty confident. Not only that, but even Death Holy Death looked up at the guy after he made the charge and was like, "Didn't we talk about this?" So we were laughing, having a good time. What can I tell you? And there's a better picture of the Grail Knight slamming into the Spirit Host, which is fine. That's exactly what that unit was supposed to do. Chaff, chaff, chaff. Because the Grail Knight scared the hell out of me. And there's a better picture of the Paladin and Damsel running off to make up a story about how there was 1,000,000 dragon zombies on the table, and they barely escaped with their lives. During the magic phase, he gets Wizen's wild form off on his unit of Knights of the Realm, Errant Knights, whatever the hell these things are. And that's fine. +1 strength, +1 toughness. I spent all my Dispel dice stopping his Lore Life spells. And during the shooting phase, he targets the Lich High Priest and hits. Luckily, she makes her Lookout Sir roll, or ma'am, I guess, in this situation. However, 4 of my poor archers die again, I guess, and that kind of sucks. But that's exactly what they're for, so it's okay. And then he targets the War Kitty and puts a direct hit on him again and does 4 wounds. The War Kitty's not dead yet, but he's hanging on borrowed time. And it's driving me crazy. In 2 rounds, he's had 3 solid hits with his trebuchets. In 6 games, I was lucky to get 1 with my catapult. Ugh, war machines. And then during the shooting phase, his 30+ bowmen shoot at the chariots and put 2 wounds through on him, and that sucks. Then we go into combat, and his Grail Knights have no problem taking out the Spirit Host. I find out that he's got that sword that always wounds on a 3-up. Not to mention, Grail Knights are just good, so yeah, the fact that Spirit Host died is fine. And yeah, it was expected, because that's what Chaff's supposed to do. And the glorious thing is that my Chaff in this situation don't cost any points, so awesome. And then over here, yeah, my tar pit actually does exceptionally well. I ended up killing 5 of the knights between the 2 units. He ended up killing 4 or 5 of my skeleton warriors, and believe it or not, I think I might have won this combat, or it was really close. One of the 2. He's got a little bit of banner shenanigans going on, but either way, I mean, you're looking at it. I'm not hurt that bad. He's falling apart pretty quick, and now he's not going to have that lance strength. So I'm feeling good about this one. So with all that said and done, we go over here to top of 3 after movement, and everyone goes into the flanks. I need those guys dead yesterday. The general, the chariots go into the right side there. The other unit of chariots go into the left side. I believe the War Kitty even charged, but failed. My stalkers come on and they deviate a lot, unfortunately. I wanted them on the other side, didn't quite work out. But they are where they are, and they can Care Bear stare at the Grail Knights, which I feel good about. My Vargeist, they run over after, you know, chasing down those Errant Knights earlier to stare down the Trebuchet. I'm hoping that he shoots at the Vargeists and that no matter what, they're going to slam into the Trebuchet next turn anyway. My Hex Rays slam into the Men-at-Arms on the right flank there, and that's great because I know there's no magic weapons in there, so it's just a matter of time. And believe it or not, thanks to the Lord in his unit of peasants or whatever, they're able to make their terror check. Although, I think he rolled like a 3 for their terror check, so they were fine regardless. And yeah, my scouts just kind of move up slightly to shoot at the trebuchet some more because although they're having 0 luck wounding, at least they're doing something and it's putting a lot of pressure on his flank there. So I feel pretty good about that. Ignore the pasta, it smelled so good. There's a better picture of my entire army collapsing onto these damn knights, and I've learned to do a little overkill since my last game. What can I tell you? And there's a better picture of my Hex Ray slamming into the Men-at-Arms, and that's just going to be fun. During the magic phase, just because I don't want my general to take a flank charge from Grail Knights, I get some Oobshati onto the table, thanks to Lore of Undeath. He stopped me from summoning another Spirit Host, which is fine. I put the Oobshati up there, and they made it no problem because I irresistible forced it through. Not intentional, just sometimes that happens when you roll 3 dice. What can I tell you? I, of course, roll a miscast 5, which isn't the end of the world, but it still sucks a little bit.
No! You must not read from the book!
And, yeah, I ended up destroying one of the chariots that apparently had 1 wound left on it. The general is fine, the terror is fine, and the 2 knights that were affected are perfectly fine. They make their ward saves like it's nothing. So, I think it ends my magic phase, but that's about it. So, with shooting not doing anything, we go straight into combat, and the Hex Rays decimate this unit of Men-at-Arms. Obviously, the Men-at-Arms do nothing in return. However, I kill, I think, 5 or 6 of the Men-at-Arms, which is awesome. Charge, 5 wounds to his banner. He's not steadfast. He loses by... he needs snakes, basically. And he gets it. Ugh. Yeah, if you can believe it, those bastards make their insane courage and stay. Oh well, what can you do? They earned it, and now I'm going to have to kill them to a man. No fleeing, no nothing. They all have to die. Speaking of all having to die, this is what it looks like after combat. The impact hits, all the damage. I ended up losing 2 skeletons. That's pretty much it. I think maybe he slipped a wound onto my chariots on the left there, but that's really about it. He's got a damsel in the left unit, and he's got a standard bearer in the right unit, and that's it. Needless to say, he loses by a ton. And both units break, and neither get away. The chariots on the left side there chase down the damsel, no problem. The other unit with just a banner, the banner explodes. And everybody reforms. My general moves to look at his Grail Knights just in case a character decides to jump out. The other chariot turns to the right just in case the Grail Knights decide to overrun after hitting the Ushati. And that's really it. I'm just looking to countercharge next turn. Speaking of next turn, here's bottom of 3 after movement. And go figure the Grail Knights took their charge onto the Ushati. And that was expected. That's what Chaff's supposed to do. Other than that, he's really got nothing left. The trebuchets aren't going to move, the bowmen aren't going to move, and everything else is deader in combat. There's a better picture of his Grail Knights slamming into the Ushati. And if you're wondering where those back 3 guys went, my Stalkers did a pretty good job against them last turn. And for some reason, I forgot to take a picture. During his magic phase, nothing happens, but in shooting, the 30 bowmen shoot at the War Kitty and slip the last wound through and kill him. And that sucks! And to further suck his shooting phase, his trebuchet takes careful aim at my stalkers and direct hits yet again. Doing 4 wounds, killing 1 and leaving a wound on the survivors, driving me out of my gourd how good his shooting is. I wish my shooting was 1/10 of as good as his shooting was. I might still feel this stupid skullpult, but whatever. You know, some people excel at certain things, and I just don't excel at war machines. Then, of course, he shoots at my general with the other trebuchet. It deviates to direct hit on my damn chariot and obliterates it before I can resurrect anymore. So, just outstanding. In combat over here, it's not a shock, but the Grail Knights just obliterate my Ubshati. I think he just does the amount of wounds, the 9 wounds needed to kill him before I can do anything. It's quite devastating, actually. And then, of course, after that, we go over here to top of 4 after movement. And I opt not to charge these psychopaths because they scare the hell out of me. My chariots just kind of reform to shoot at them. The stalkers stay pretty much right where they're at because whatever, I'm not escaping them. My general moves in such a way that he can soak up some shooting because I know it's coming. And possibly, you know, harass the, the Grail Knights with some more chaff. And that's really about it. Oh yeah, and the Vargeists charge into the Trebuchet on the left side, and the Hex Race, who in the last round of combat obliterated the last bit of Man-Eaters and then turned to face the Trebuchet. They turn and charge the Trebuchet, so that's cool. There's a better picture of my Hex Race slamming into the Trebuchet, and that thing's gotta die. And here are my Vargeist slamming into the other Trebuchet, because both of them are entirely too accurate to live. During the magic phase, I'm able to get another unit of Spirit Host off and chaff up his Grail Knights once again. Really, really enjoying the lore of Undeath. Unfortunately, again on 4 dice, I miscast 3 because, yes.
No! You must not read from the book!
This time, however, it is not all good. My general gets sucked into the warp. I know my mount is still there, and he does, believe it or not, pass his monster reaction test. But yeah, this sucks. I mean, I'm not even like 6 dice in these spells either, and I keep on miscasting. And now I miscast 3 and sucked my guy into the warp. The one consolation is the Terror was able to. My opponent rolled a 1 to wound him, so that was kind of nice. But fudge! Farfernugget, I'm sick of miscast killing me! And just because I needed it, I go ahead and do Bubble Ward, and I get my Skeleton Warriors, of course, raising some, my Titan, and my Archers with a 5-up ward, resurrecting some Archers too, which was needed. So that's a little protection, I guess, and I feel pretty good about that. And then during the shooting phase, the Care Bear Stare kills another 3 Grail Knights, which is awesome. I'm whittling that unit down into non-existence. In the combat phase, the Hex Wraiths anyway, are able to obliterate the 4 human, crew or whatever, which is kind of nice. The Bowmen do pass their panic check for unit destroyed within 6, and the Hex Wraiths just kind of turn to face the Bowmen because I'm trying to charge them in the flank next turn because I need them dead too. And the Vargeist, lo and behold, are able to destroy the remaining Trebuchet. I believe they do overrun because they have to. They're frenzied, and I think they go off the table. So we go over here to bottom of 4 after movement, and go figure the Grail Knights charge the Spirit Host. Other than that, he doesn't move at all. There's a better picture of the Grail Knights slamming into the Spirit Host, and that's fine. During the magic phase, he's able to get regrowth off on this unit and heals 1 or 2 of his Grail Knights guys back into life, and that sucks. And then during the shooting phase, his archers put 3 wounds through on my Terror, which is my fault for putting him there, so what can you do? Then in combat, the Grail Knights, even though they're slightly lower, are able to no problem kill my Spirit Host, and that sucks. So we go to top of 5 after movement, and the Hex Wraiths go into the Bowman because I'm pretty sure that his Lord did not bring a magic weapon, and that's fine. I'm going to put as many attacks into the unit as I can and make him take break checks until they're all dead or until he breaks and I run them down and they're all dead. The Vargeist move over to deal with him the best they can. The Stalkers move out of the way so that the Chariots can countercharge when the Grail Knights charge into my Skeleton Warriors, because that's where I figure he's going. And my Abyssal Terror moves behind the rock to stay out of his charge arc, stay away from those stupid archers, and try to save all those points, because if the Terror lives, the General's points are saved, and that's something. Other than that, everything I have is dead or in combat. There's a better picture of Hex Wraith slamming into the Bowman, and I was excited about that because finally not shooting at me anymore. During the shooting phase, I'm able to kill 1 of the Grail Knights and 1 of the Stalkers. The Grail Knights are exceptionally shiny, and the Stalkers don't like the way they look, especially in the autumn. In combat, my opponent moves his character over, and I'm like, you're going to move him over? What, do you have a magic weapon? And he goes, oh yeah. And I'm thinking the Tormentor Sword, the Biting Blade, maybe the Sword of Striking, not a big deal. This SOB equipped this Lord with an Ogre Blade. Who does that? Luckily for me, all 4 of his attacks, he rolls 4 ones and does nothing. I'm able to do a considerable amount of damage to the Bowmen, forcing the break check, but they're steadfast with the General inside, or with a Lord level character in there, and of course they don't break. But all my good plans are for naught now, because he's got a mother effing General in there with the Ogre Blade. Damn it! So, with that surprise now available, we go over here to bottom of 5 after movement, and my opponent makes a Hail Mary charge. He needed a 10 to hit my archers. A 10! And he friggin' made it. Couldn't believe how unlucky that was. I didn't think he was going to charge after my Skeleton Warriors. I figured he was going to go after either the Chariots or the Skeleton Warriors. I did not think he was going to go after the Skeleton Archers, and if he did, I even shifted them over so that they were 10 inches away from him. 10! And he makes it! Ah! Does this suck? Oh man, because when he kills the archers, he's going to get another banner. He's going to get my 250 point Lord Caster. Oh, does this suck? But it was a hell of a charge. I got to give it to him. And I've got nothing ready to deal with that at all. I have no counter charges for that whatsoever. Makes me sick to my stomach. Nothing happens in his magic phase or his shooting phase. So we go into combat. And his General is able to do, I think, 2 or 3 wounds to my Hex Wraiths. I think it's 2. I'm able to do 1 back. So with 1 wound, flank, to 2 wounds, I think a rank, and I don't think they have a banner or anything like that. I lose by 2 or 3. It's bad. And if I'm not mistaken, the Hex Race all die in this one. I might not have done as many wounds as I think. Something happens, all the Hex Rays are dead. Not happy. Then over here in combat, yeah, the Grail Knights obliterate every single archer I have. And after crumbles and everything like that, I take 1 wound on my caster. I'm not gone yet, but give it a turn. This sucks. So we go over here to top of 6 after movement, and I just don't have a ton. I send my skeleton, horseman, archer guys into the flank of the bowman, and then I send my Var guys into the other side flank of the bowman. And the reason I sent the skeleton, horseman, archer guys in is because I know they're dead. I know the general's going to make short work of them. But the idea was keep the general on that side. He can't make way if he's already in combat, and the Var guys are the ones that I need making or doing damage to the bowman. So that's why I did that. Plus, you know, charge, flank, and banner. You know, that's useful. I don't plan on him, you know, being not steadfast, but every time he's rolling dice gives me a chance to run him down. Everything else that I have on my left flank turns to face my right flank, and like a complete moron, I completely forget to move my terror, my Abyssal Terror. So he stays right where he's at. There's a better picture of my skeleton archers and my Vargeist slamming into the bowman, and I just want these points. During the magic phase, I get Incantation and Desiccation off on these guys, lowering their strength and toughness by 2. And the hope there was that he flubbed. I forgot about that stupid sword that always wounds on a 3. And of course, it's Irresistible Force, and I roll Snake Eyes. Snake Eyes. 2 friggin' Dimensional Cascades in 1 game. Thank you, Fate, or Dice Gods, or whoever's responsible. I hope you have a mouthful of glass. Yep, the big old template gets placed over her, and in the end, 2 Grail Knights die, and she takes another wound, but she does not go into the warp, and I feel pretty good about that. It's, you know, nothing huge. I know she's dead in the next phase anyway, but damn it, I took a couple of Grail Knights out with her, so that's awesome. Then over here in combat, what's his face? The general does not kill off all my skeleton, the horseman, archers. He comes close though, and my Var guys flub a little bit. They only kill about 6 of these damn guys. It's a shame, but it's something at least. They take 2 wounds for their trouble, but I win this combat, and they're steadfast and they don't break. Over here in this combat, however, his general has no problem wounding on a 3-up. Doing the last wound, I fail my 5-up ward, and my caster dies. And just damn well played by my opponent. This right here, I took a picture of this because this is when I realized I just lost the game. This is when I realized that I am a very stupid person. He, of course, combat reforms after, you know, winning this combat and turns to face the Abyssal Terror that has 1 mother effing wound left on him. I forgot to move him out of the way of the damn knights, and I'm an idiot. I am a total effing retard, and my opponent is smarter than me. And he proves it with this picture right here. So we go to bottom 6, and he makes his charge into the Terror, no problem. Yep, nope, just, God, I'm stupid. There's a better picture of his Grail Knights and his General and his BSB and his Prophetess slamming into my Abyssal Terror, and I deserve this. And nothing happens in the magic or shooting phase worth talking about. I think maybe he just re-ups Throne of Iron. No, nothing happens in his magic phase. Nothing happens in the shooting phase. We go into combat, and my Vargeist actually tear the crap out of these bowmen. They do take 2 more wounds for their trouble, but they take out like 8 of the bowmen. I win this combat. They're steadfast, and they don't go anywhere. And then over here, I think they fart on the Terror, and he falls to pieces. And that's exactly what I deserve for being a friggin' moron. And there it is. There's the end of the game. Oh, so many mistakes made by me, but a lot of good plays made by me too. So I feel good about me, and I hate me at the same time. So it's a very conflicting emotion. I'm in a very weird time in my life. But you know what? It was a damn good game, and we'll get to the recap in a minute because right now this game is over.
That's it, man. Game over, man. It's game over.
Banners, banners, banners. Get you some banners. Look at the banners. You are never going to be able to get better banners than this. There is no company, there is no talent scout, there is no entity on the planet that's going to get you banners better than this. Custom banners for your custom army. You want better paint scores. You want that little edge that makes your army better than the guy next to you. Sick of running, going to tournaments and getting that paint score that's just a few points lower than the guy that literally sneezes on his army. And you can't figure out why? Get these banners and make your army really pop, really stand out. Send this guy an email, tell him what you want, and get yourself some banners. It's totally worth it. Alright, guys and gals, there it is. Token Gal is back, and she's back in full operation mode of making tokens. So if you missed out before she went and got married and became Mrs. Token Gal, or however that works, this is your chance. Get your tokens now. Send her an email. Send her your monies. Get yourself some tokens. They're dirt cheap, solid gold quality. You're not going to be disappointed. Tell her Tremendous sent you. She'll probably know. But yeah, get these tokens. They're so much better than just using dice. They're so much easier to remember everything. You don't have to worry about your cards getting lost, stolen, ripped, torn, whatever. And, they're glass beads, cool high-def pictures. Totally worth it. Get yourself some tokens. You won't regret it. That's right, guys. As you saw from the pictures, Unleashed Wargaming is now doing magic cards. As you can see, not only magic cards, but phenomenal magic cards. Laminated on thick cardstock, photoshopped so that it's real sharp pictures. The words are easy to read. It's real obvious they're numbered, the casting value, the type of spell it is. And they're so unique. They're beautiful magic cards. I have every intention in the world of sending just all the orders I can get to this guy when 9th edition comes out to give me a whole set of the magic cards, because these are amazing. Not only does this guy do great painting, so if you want your models painted, you need something painted, and you want it painted at a real good standard, at a professional standard for a damn good price, contact this guy. Send him an email. Get yourself some cards. Get yourself your army painted. You won't regret it. Let him know Tremendous sent you. But yeah, in the end, I was defeated, and I totally deserve to be defeated because I'm an absolute moron. I gave up over 700 points, well, maybe over 600 points at the very last second there when he took out the Terror. I got 1543 out of him. He got 1814 out of me. He still had his General, his BSB, the Grail Knights, his other Lord character. Basically, all of his Lord characters, his Prophetess, all of them were still alive. His Archers were alive, and his Grail Knights were alive. So he still had a ton of points on the table. I ended up giving up 1,814 in the end. Yeah, for a difference of 271, just under 300 points. So yeah, if my friggin' Terrorgeist wouldn't have died, or not Terrorgeist, but my what's it called, Abyssal Terror, and he wouldn't have got points for my General, I would have been okay. If he hadn't made that crazy charge, which good on him for making it, but just so many ifs, if. But you know what? In the end, I got outplayed, and well done by my opponent. What can you do? You shake the man's hand, and you secretly plot his death. What can you do? What can you do? Oh, I'm the only one? I'm the only one. Fine, whatever. I'm kidding. I like this guy. In the end, though, I lost my Vampire Lord because I'm a moron. My High Lich Priest, one of my units of chariots, one of my Skeleton Horsemen, Archer guys, my Hex Race, my regular Archers, and my War Kitty. He ended up losing a paladin, 2 damsels, the knights errant, 3 units, knights of the realm, his men-at-arms, and 2 trebuchets. So yeah, I took a lot out of him, but in the end he squeaked it out. And yeah, that's just my patented snatching defeat out of the jaws of victory approach. And what can you do? But you know what? This was a fantastically good game, especially at the end there with the Hail Mary charges and then just the outsmarting my stupidity thing. That was great. That last charge, he needed 10 inches. I know it's not impossible, but it's not easy it was difficult, and yeah, he did it, and it really threw me off. I was completely unaware, completely unprepared, and it serves me right. It serves me damn right to lose this game. My opponent earned this one, and I'm proud of him. You know, what can you do? Jeez, 2 units of chariots. Absolutely amazing. I cannot wait until both units hit 1 unit, and I have 6d6 strength 4 hits up against whatever it is they run into. Oh, I know it's going to have to be one of those stars align moments and stuff like that for it to actually occur, but 6d6 strength 4. Just say it with me. Just say it with me. 6d6 strength 4 impact hits. Ooh, I'm getting tingles. Grail Knights, even when there's only 1 left and, you know, 2 fighty characters and a prophetess, they're no joke. And yeah, they won him the game. And you know what? He used the tools to the best of his ability, and he outplayed me. He won in the end. He saw the mistake and he capitalized on it. And all I can do is blame myself. And myself is who deserves the blame. The Bretonnians are a ton of fun to play against too, I might add. It's quick, it's fast, it's combat oriented. Oh, tons of fun, especially when there's a good general behind them too, when you know you're not just walking over him because the guy across the table from you is half retarded. This guy knows what he's doing, especially with Bretonnians, and I'm impressed. Really beginning to fall in love with the lore of Undead too. Chaffing up the Grail Knights for most of the game was a lot of fun. I'm sure my opponent hated me deep down inside, but he took his aggression out in the end, so he got his. But we were laughing, we were having a good time, and in the end, all I could do was hate myself deeply for making the mistakes that I did. But once again, terrific game. Love these close ones. Terrific opponent. He's one of my favorites, and I cannot wait for the rematch. Hopefully soon, this weekend. But that's going to do it for this one, guys. Battle Report 179. As always, if you have any comments, concerns, complaints, or questions, feel free to put them in the comment section below, and I will get back to you as quick as I can. But yeah, guys, thanks.